Hey, what up, guitar cats? Good morning. We got the glarry on the bench. Looks like it needs a little bit of metal polish. My new bridge is all scuffed up. I polished it a little, but you could see we got a buff. I did a little compound in, just cleaned it up a little. It took a beating on this last run, but look, we got the bridge set. Now, is it perfectly even, straight? Maybe not exactly. You can see it's touching the top. It's not touching the bottom on the pick guard. And it's not exactly parallel. It's kind of cocked up a little bit that way. Well, that way, I guess, for you guys. So you can see that. But I wanted to compensate because the frets are not rounded. They're like ramped. You see? And so the way this E string was sitting on them, it was rolling off the edge of the fretboard. No bueno. When you're playing, you don't want to be contending with that. Now we cut the nut. I moved over the E string in a little. You can kind of see it. I moved it in about a mil, again, to keep it on the fretboard. It kept popping off. Now, is it hanging a little too high over the top now? Yeah, but very rarely am I doing like vibrato. I was up here on the 12th fret doing a little vibrato, and I pulled it over the top. So it will pull over the top now easier, right? So I had seen in the reviews on this guitar, someone else was saying that the bridge, and the neck doesn't sit on there correctly. No, it doesn't. So basically, I mean, look, they were stripped out anyway. The screws holding the bridge on, at least 4 out of the 4. But the 4 kind of lined up. I got the fender parts. It lined up perfectly with this glarry in an imperfect sense. That's the one. That's the one that fits, right? So I still had to retrofit it a little. The string ferrules kind of attach, widen those out so that the strings could come through, because I moved the bridge over a couple of millimeters, and then they won't come straight through. So, but they still managed to line up. I cracked the pickup, the single coil, and crazy glued it back. You can see right there. Doesn't look good, but I can cosmetically fix it. I don't really care. I'm not trying to make this the shiniest guitar on the block. It's more of a player version, right? It's a cheap guitar, but it is shiny. It came super buffed. I'm going to try to get a buffing wheel. And I got the Meguiar's compound. We did some compound on it. But you can really get in there with the buffing wheel, get the scratches out. You can see there's still some scratches and stuff. But whatever, the finish is good. I damaged the pick guard. There's a lot of scratches on the pick guard, you see? But again, like I say, Players Series, even the humbucker took a few scratches. So that's one of my downfalls when I'm working on guitars. I'm not protecting them enough, wrapped them up, and just getting it done. But look, playing in 5 minutes, 2 minutes. My hands, I cleaned them off. It's hard to see in this light, but there's black coming off of this fake rosewood. All right, it's not even close to rosewood. And then they must have dyed it. But I've cleaned it now with alcohol. I've used the naphtha. And I've even sanded it, and it still keeps coming black on my hands. So, I don't know, there's a lot of problems with this guitar. Honestly, I wouldn't really recommend buying it, but for the price, I mean, if you got some skills to be fixing stuff, and the tools, maybe it's not a bad buy for you, okay? Like for me, a guy in my position, I think this is a dual guitar. And so now, what did I do all together? Neck shim, all right? I had to put a little shim in that neck. It wasn't flat. It looks like there's no radius on this fretboard. I radiused the string slightly anyway. It seems if they're not, then you're not going to hear some of them. So maybe it's just the way I'm used to playing, but I radiused them slightly. It looks like the fretboard's like a 12 or something, or compound maybe. It might be a 9, 10 starting off in the beginning, and then it looks pretty flat down at the top. Plays nice in the upper registers. I got the intonation on point. I got to change the strings and it'll be perfect, but it is pretty much there. And well, maybe I should play for you a little bit. I got to dial in the pickups. Pickup height has been changed, so we'll plug it in and do that. But yeah, look at the bridge. I'm sorry, you can't see. Closed it up. Throw it in selfie mode. All right, look at the bridge. There's the new Strat bridge, right? So the strings don't line up exactly over the fake Alnicos or whatever they are, but kind of right on the single coil. It's offset a little, but they're kind of over them. Where here on the humbucker, you can see the strings are lined up exactly. Now, the screws, the bolts, you see the bolts on the B string, it's kind of long. I cut the other one shorter, A string kind of long, but it's not hitting into the string. It's not changing the break angle, but it could. Right, but that's around where the intonation is going to be. I don't think it's going to change radically, and so I shouldn't have to move it too much and pull it back and thereby driving the bolt in. If so, I'll cut the bolt down again. Kind of annoying, a lot of work. Got the old Dremel mounted here. These cutting wheels break up and go flying and try to blind you. I got hit in the eye, so not good. But the screws, I used the old Telly bolts. Screws are longer and longer springs. Now you can see the first spring is the short spring that came with the bridge. That's the only one. All the other ones are like smushed up, which doesn't look perfect, but it does function well and it puts a lot of tension on them. I could have cut the springs down if I wanted to make it more aesthetically pleasing, but like I say, it's a player guitar. I don't really care. That's not going to mess with my eye too much. But I do see how the first one looks nice. And then the rest are kind of for juncta. But we got the intonation on point, people. There it is. You can see it. It looks like it should. And it's playing great. So what else is there? We got the bridge on. I had to put dowels glued in and re-drill the bridge. Shim the neck. That isn't too hard, but it could be. We changed the neck angle. I recut the nut slots. Jesus, I keep thinking I'm in selfie mode. Sorry, people. I'm the worst. I know. Look, the first three, 1, 2, 3, I did with my homemade tool, the feeler gauge tool, right? I cut the feeler gauge into saws. Cut some teeth. That one don't look so pretty. It's not the best angle. And then there's debris in there, which is really catching the angle, the light. But whatever, you can see I cut some teeth in there, and there's more. Here, this one looks way better. Okay. There you go. That looks like a saw. All right, so you just make saws. And then the first three fit exactly, so you could see they look nice and clean. The A and the E, I had to, improvise, and then you cut on angles to make it wide enough. So kind of a hassle. And then I had to refill in the low E. I went too far, so I had to put the cyanoacrylate glue and the baking soda a couple times to get it just right. But when you play the first fret, it's on point now, right? The action is low, so the F isn't sharp, the C isn't, the C is a C, and then it shouldn't be a little bit sharp, right? The first fret, if it's too high, you're going to have sharp. Maybe the first few frets will be off the intonation. The intonation is perfect now, and it's good above the 12th fret too, so we're good. We got it playing. It's playable. The action is pretty low. It's not bothering me. I guess the only thing left to do is play a little bit for you guys, and I don't even know if that's possible with the way this camera's set up. Probably impossible. I don't know if you're seeing me or not. We're going to wing this, okay? I got my Peterson strobe. Highly recommended. Taking it off. But, I'll do one of my typical tunes, right? Like Eyes of the World. So let's see. Or here, we'll do a little. How about some, Black Peter? friends came in to see me last night. I was laying in my bed and dying. Anybody know from St. Angel? Know the weather down here sure feels fine. Just then the wind came in, sculled through the door. Who can the weather command? One more day that I find myself alive. Maybe tomorrow go beneath the ground. Seems how everything could lead up to this day. Seems how everything could lead up to this day. Just like any other day that's ever been. I forgot it. Shine through my window. All right, so we gotta work on that one. So it's pretty good. I feel that low end ringing out. See, but not the high end as much. So I've been screwing with the action, raising it up a little, trying to bring out those mids and that high end, and it seems to work a little. It's all about dialing it in, I guess. They're always thinking low action. My fingers are happy. It's just my ear is not super happy. I want to hear more of that high end. What did I do? I raised the B already. Sounds better. Everybody wants to know where Jimmy has gone. He left town, doubt if he's coming back home. So when I sing really loud, I kind of drowned out this guitar. But no, it's not an acoustic. It's not plugged in. It's semi-hollow. So that's pretty good, right? Like, so I can play. The levels are a little off, so I don't know if I would want to practice the vocals without a mic and this guitar. I mean, it's good. I could practice singing soft, but when I punch up the vocal volume, I tend to drown out the guitar in my ear, which doesn't happen with an acoustic, right? Or if an amp's blasting in my ear. But here it is, people. That's it. I think we're done, at least for now. We will upgrade the pickup. You know, I could adjust the pickup heights and get it dialed in with the amp. You've already seen it on the amp. You've already seen it playing. And so it's pretty good. For $100, not bad. 85, right? Plus the bridge, so $105. And then work. I put a lot of work, a lot of time into this bad boy. sanding it and everything. And there's even like a lump in the neck, which is kind of weird. I don't think I put that there. It's like a divot. So I still want to sand the neck more, but it's smooth. It's smooth like glass, plays like butter. I can still dress the fret ends probably a little, but they're pretty smooth. So it's like rolled. No, it's playing really well. I feel like it's going to stay in tune. I need to change the strings. It feels like it's got reliable intonation. It's giggable. This is a gigging guitar. I feel like this is a pro level guitar. I mean, you know, it might not be your favorite guitar, but any pro could pick it up and be like, all right, that's good. Yeah, that can work, right? Like, you can get through a song and get through a song on stage. Good backup guitar, right? I got the Squire as my main axe. This is a backup or whatever, a second main, right? And then different, right? A little bit different sound combinations if I want to change around. Odds are I'll be bringing both of them to gigs as well. I always have a backup. And then who knows how I set up with the loopers and stuff. We have yet to see how that's going to go. But I think I'm going to use the mower as a looper and as an effects processor, $100. It's also an interface, and then I can record into the computer. So all in all, we ended up with some pretty high action here on the low E. I can bring it down a tinge, and then it almost starts to buzz. But sounding pretty good. Like I say, it doesn't feel bad to my fingers. See, it's buzzing already. From the 12th to the 15th. So it's all right. I mean, I think the fake rosewood is kind of lame, dirtying up your fingers. And then these frets, the way they sanded them, probably makes the neck, you know, worthy of an upgrade too. But then what am I building around? This great, you know, hollow body? That's okay, I guess. Yeah, it might be good with a better neck, but this neck is all right. No scarf joint. I like the lines in it. Really looking good from the back. I don't know if I like the glarry logo so much. It's not too bad. Shape of the headstock isn't bad either. Especially for a Telly. I don't know if I even like the Fender Telly ones. They're too thin. I really like the Strat shape. So this is kind of close in between a Strat and a Telly shape. Apparently it's still dirty and dusty. I didn't clean it off too good. But yeah, that's it. We recut the knot. Shim the neck. New bridge, new saddles. That's what it takes to get this bad boy playing in tune and, you know, easily playable. So my ear is picking up like slight buzzing or whatever and doesn't like it. Like I said, my fingers aren't mad at the action, although I think it is a little bit on the higher side. I realize I'm more of a strummer than a shredder, so maybe I don't want the action down super low. I guess it might vary from guitar to guitar, but for right now, peeps, I think we're going to wrap it. And we'll keep continuing to dial this bad boy in. Hopefully, it'll be a regular player. I like the idea that I could just grab it and play it without an amp and hear it pretty good. and it can even compete with the vocals, kind of. So, I mean, be wary. If you're going to get this guitar, you're looking for a cheap one, you think you're just going to play it right out of the box, you might have some problems. So, get your tools ready. See you on the next video, people.